Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We have already designed the messaging dashboard and today we are going to give it a soul. In this video, I will show you how to program the message sending and viewing process using PHP, Ajax and MySQL. A messaging system is only as good as its speed and reliability. Today we are moving away from traditional page refreshes and using Ajax polling to create seamless real-time feed. Whether you are a student asking a question or an instructor replying, the experience should be as smooth as WhatsApp. This is our messaging panel. I logged as a seller and logged as a buyer in two different browsers. In this part you can see seller's message part and other side you can see buyer's messaging part. In the buyer's messaging part you can see an unseen messages are here. You can see seller's name and message count we can display. And now I click this chat and reply. I type message and click this send button. Now you can see our message sent, but we don't read this, so our tick is in gray color. And I go to buyer's messaging part and reload. Now you can see the one message is here. I click this and now you can see our tick was blue. So I can reply again from buyer. I type message and click this send button. Then I turn into our seller's messaging part. Now you can see the message. By using this messaging panel, buyer like before. Now let's dive into our code. This is our buyer dashboard.php file. Let's go to our JavaScript part. Load chat list function. This keeps your contact list up to date. It calls getChatlist.php to get all users you have chat with. It checks chat.unread count. If there are new messages, it shows a little blue circle with the number. This is a classic UX hook to get users to click. It checks active other ID equal to chat.id to add a blue border to the person you are currently talking to, so you don't get confused. Select chat ID. This is what happens when you click a person's name. It removes the hidden class from the header and input area. This is the most important part. It uses set interval load messages 3000. It means every 3 seconds the app asks the server if there are any new messages. This creates the real-time feel without using complex WebSocket. Load messages function. This builds the actual chat bubbles you see on the screen. m.side equal to write. If it is your message, it pushes it to the right and make it dark. If it is a received message, it stays on the left and right. m.status. If the other person has seen your message, the checkmark turned blue. Text blue 400. Otherwise, it stay green. Area scroll top. Area scroll height. This ensures that when a new message arrives, automatically scroll to the bottom so you can read it immediately. Send messages. As soon as you hit send, it clears the input box and calls load messages manually so your messages appears instantly without waiting for 3-second timer. It sends to ID and content, which is much safer than sending private messages through a URL. Filter chat. This function doesn't call the database. It just hide or show the div element already on the screen based on what you type. It is lightning fast because it happens entirely in the user's browser. As this buyer-dashboard.php file's JavaScript part, we create this JavaScript part on our seller's dashboard. Now let's go to our getChatlist.php file. Since you could be the sender or the receiver, the query uses a case statement to identify the other person. If I am the sender, get the receiver's ID, otherwise get the sender's ID. This creates a list of unique people you have integrated with. Order by last chat item DESC. This ensures that the person you talked to the most recently stays at the top of your sidebar, just like WhatsApp. Users want to see a sneak peek of the conversation. For every person is in your list, the script runs a small query to find the very last message exchanged between you two. We grab the content and create it at time so your sidebar can show things. Hey, how are you? Instead of just a name. The unread batch logic. The strip count messages where the status is still unseen and the sender is the other person. This unread count is what tells our JavaScript to show that little blue notification circle. And finally, we bundle all this complex data into a clean JSON array. Each entry in the array contains like ID, name, last message, time, and unread count. This format is perfect for our JavaScript load chatlist function to loop through and build the UI dynamically. And this is our load messages.php file. We start by making sure the request is coming from a real logged in user. It checks $session logged in. If someone tries to bypass the UI to read messages, they get an empty array and the script stops. We use inval on the other ID from the URL. This prevents SQL injection and ensures we are looking for a valid user ID. To show a chat, we need to find messages where you are the sender or the receiver. The SQL query looks for messages from user A to user B or from user B to user A. Order by created at ASC is used to that the oldest messages stay at the top and the newest ones appear at the bottom, creating a natural conversation flow. How does the front end know which bubble goes on the right or left? We tell it right here. Inside the loop, we check $row from user ID equal to $user ID. If the message comes from you, the label is right. If it comes from other person, we label it as left. This makes the JavaScript job much easier when it's time to apply Tailwind CSS class. Auto update in the scene status. This is the blue tick logic. Once the messages are successfully fetched and displayed on the user's screen, the script runs as IUD command. It updates all unseen messages where the other person was the sender and you were the receiver to see. This is why the notification badge disappears the moment you open a chat. And this is our sendMessages.php file. Before we do anything, we verify the sender's identifier. We check $session logged in. This ensures that nobody can spoof a message or send one without being a registered logged in user of Skillshop. We clean the data to prevent errors and empty entries. Into an entry. We turn the toID into a solid integer and strip any useless spaces from the message content. This is a great UX detail. We check if $from ID equal to $to ID. This prevents a user from accidentally starting a conversation with themselves, which would look messy in the database. The database insert. Now we officially record the conversation by using the database IUD method with placeholders. We protect the platform from SQL injection attacks. Even if a user types malicious code into the chat, it will be saved as plain text, not executed as a command. The message is saved with the sender's ID, the receiver's ID, and the message content. The created at and status usually fill in automatically database default. And finally, we talk back to the JavaScript frontend. If the insert works, we send success and true. Front-end reaction. This is what tells your JavaScript to clear the input box and immediately refresh the chat window so the user sees their own message pop up instantly. Now let's dive into our getUnseenMessageCount.php file. We start our file by identify the user behind the request. We use session validation and server-side ID. The unseen counter logic. This is a focused SQL query designed for speed. Instead of fetching all the messages, we use count ID. This tells the database to just return a single number, making the strip lightning fast. We are specifically looking for rows where two user ID matches. The status is still unseen. This ignores all the messages you have already read. Safe data handling. We ensure the data we send back is clean and ready for JavaScript. If the database search fails or there are zero messages, we use a ternary operator to set the $count to 0. This prevents the frontend from receiving an undefined or null value, which could break your UI. And we use $, count before encoding it to JSON to ensure that the count is sent as a pure number, not a string. Navigation integration. This script is usually called by a global poller in your navigation bar. You would typically call this script every 10 or 30 seconds using a JavaScript set interval. If the return count is greater than 0, your JavaScript can automatically show the notification badge on the messages link in your header. So this is the end of today's video. Thank you very much for joining with me, and I'll see you again with another video. Have a nice day all, and goodbye.